Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
On the phone we have our local MP from Otaki, Nathan Guy. How are you, Nathan?
Yeah, morning, Corin. Very well, thank you.
Excellent. What's the weather like up there with you this morning?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah? Excellent
I'm shifting
stuff.
a couple of mobs of cattle before I get in my suit and head to Wellington for our first Shadow Cabinet meeting.
Ah, fantastic stuff. Okay, Nathan, well, look, let's get into this thing because there's been a huge amount of talk and comment on social media. Our Facebook page, we've reached nearly 25,000 people with the comments about Air New Zealand. And there's a lot of people that are saying, let's move on, try for other carriers. What do you think?
I was just going to say, I bet those comments aren't very pleasant towards Air New Zealand.
No, they're not overly complimentary, I've got to say.
A bit of brain damage going on.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, what I think is really disappointing is 3 weeks is not long enough. They should have got community leaders together and had a decent chat and tried to work on a solution. They've now made the decision, and I think it's a terrible decision. I think it's really short-sighted. And there's two things that I'm doing. One is running a petition to see if they'll give us a bit of extra time. It'd be great if they would potentially renew their decision, but I think that's going to be difficult for them to try and do that, but we'll keep the pressure on. The second thing is I'm organising a bit of a sort of urgent meeting this week with key players, Ed Chatham, potentially Sounds Air, Council, Chamber of Commerce and Todd Property to see if we can work up a solution. But there's no way we'll be able to achieve something in 3 weeks.
No, and it just absolutely leaves us completely caught short. And it's such a waste of that wonderful asset that the airport is. There are rumours that around Kapiti at the moment that Todd Group, they're property developers, they're not airport managers, and they want the land back to develop housing. What do you think about that?
Oh, well, that rumour's been running for a long time since they purchased the property a few years ago from Sir Noel Robinson. And that's a question you'd have to put to Todd. My understanding is that they're committed to aviation because they need to be, because they've got an Aero Club contract that I think runs to about 2021. So there's going to be aviation on the airport. That gives us time, and hopefully in the next few months we can announce that we've got an alternative provider. So as to what Todd Property want to do, that's a question for them.
So is there anything that you in opposition or even the Labour government can do to put pressure on Air New Zealand with a decision like this? Or is this purely a corporate decision and it's just a business decision and it's fait accompli, done and dusted, thank you very much for coming?
Well, I read Phil Twyford's comments on the weekend in the Dom Post with interest. He's pretty much saying he's concerned about regional infrastructure, particularly air services, and losing them. So I'll be having a chat to him when I catch up with him in the next week or so as to whether he can do something. I think it's difficult, but they are our national carrier. There is, you would think, a bit of social responsibility, and it's not so much about profit and load, because it is profitable. Loading's been 70 to 80%. So normally you would think this is a game on for Air New Zealand. Let's get on with it. And of course, the other thing that's happening in our region, as well as you know, Corin, is that we're growing really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's really short-sighted when you think about all of the population growth that's occurring in our community. Transmission Gully underway, Kapiti Expressway happening now in the next section very shortly. We've got a catchment here of probably 70 or 80,000 people that do utilise the air service to Auckland. So I just can't really work it out.
Well, and I'm just even more gobsmacked the fact that on Saturday last week I was talking with Ian Collier and he was just full of admiration and praise for what we were doing, for the number of people that were coming through the airport. He said he was absolutely blown away by it. We had 3 mayors here all out going, yeah, this is fantastic, and they've been made to look like absolute prize chumps.
Yep, that was hypocritical, wasn't it, having an open day?
Just
standing there with the local mayors and saying, isn't it great, the airport's going well.
Yep.
So
okay.
he and others will be feeling very awkward about that open day. they had the opportunity to step forward and say, no, we've got a few problems, we're trying to work them out, we're going to have the open day in due course, postpone it, but they chose not to.
So what do we need to do? What can we do, the public, do to help change what's happened?
Well, my shout out to the community is sign the petition. That's nice and easy to do. It's online. It's around quite a few local businesses in Kapiti and most of the service stations. That's people power. Whether in New Zealand will take any notice, who knows? The second thing is, I guess, give us a bit of time to try and work up a solution. That's pretty much it.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, because if anyone can do it, Nathan, you can. So, give us a hand there, mate.
Man. Vote of confidence, Corin.
Indeed. Well, you've got a road through, so heck, an airport's an easy thing.
Yeah, well, actually, in my mind, both of those go hand in hand. So we've got electrification through to Waikanai, and hopefully that'll be extended in the future. This amazing roading that's happening through the Northern Corridor, the Kapiti Expressway, Transmission Gully, the next stage up to Otaki, and consultation happening around Levin, and a very viable airport. I mean, if you take one of those three away, then we aren't so viable and attractive for business and for people to come here.
Dead right. Nathan, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Go back to herding your cows, and we'll talk again soon.
Look forward to it. Cheers, Corin. Thanks for your
There
support and for all you're doing there from Beach, just keeping the pressure on Air New Zealand.
Thank you very much. Yep, we'll look forward to talking with you again. There you go. That's MP for Otaki Nathan Guy down on the farm.
106.3 Beach FM.